Did you know that the NCAA brings in $871 million a year in athletics alone? A lot of people think that college athletes should be getting paid, and this has been a topic for many years now. And I'm here today to tell you why I think athletes should not get paid, why I think that it's a really bad idea, and it's kind of impossible to pay college athletes if you think about it in the grand scheme of things. But as a former college football player, I've been on both sides. I think when I was playing, I would think that it's great to get paid to be an athlete, and I thought that you should get paid because let me real quick, I'll walk you through a day of a college athlete. You wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning, you run, you go to maybe a morning practice or a morning meeting, and then you go to class all day long. So after class, you go straight to practice, to more player meetings, then to dinner, and after dinner, you go straight home and you have to do homework just like a normal college student. So there's no time for a job. So many people think athletes should get paid for sure. But it's not the case. There's so much more going into that. So like I said, I've been on both sides. Now I'm studying to become a coach, and I've looked into this quite a bit, and I have many reasons. I'm going to tell you why I think that athletes should not get paid. And so the first thing I'll talk about is the enjoyment of the game. Many people watch college athletics. Me in particular, I like watching college basketball and college football because of the players' passion. They're playing for the love of the game. They're not getting paid, so they're playing because they love the sport. Many of them are gonna get paid in the future, but that's just a small percentage. The majority of them, especially at like the NAIA and D2 level, they're just playing because they love it, and they're gonna go on to do something, just like most people, and sit behind a desk or just have a normal job and not play sports for a living. So I've kind of talked about it, but yeah, for playing, they're playing for the love of the game, not money. And the players, some of them are playing to make it a career. It's not a career yet. They're playing college sports, so they're not the pros, so they're not getting paid. And so what would players do with the extra money? If you look at a school like Kansas or a school like Alabama or somebody, and they give players full ride scholarships. So if to go there out of state, it's $35,000, $40,000, $50,000 a year to go to some of these schools. And the players that are on a full ride are getting, they don't have to pay any of that, and they're getting, thousands of dollars, hundreds or thousands of dollars of gear, especially for big sports, football and basketball. Thousands of dollars in gear, food, housing, books, really, everything you need to live, you're getting already paid for. So what are you going to do with the extra money that you have? You just have extra money to spend. So, if you think about it, there's a lot of bad things that they could buy with this extra money that they just don't really need it. And so my second point, how would you pay college athletes? Is to me, it kind of sounds impossible because there's two ways that they could do it. The big schools, like in Alabama in football, a Kansas, a Duke, a North Carolina in basketball, they're bringing in so much money that they would get all the big time players. So, we just got done watching March Madness this past month, and there's always upsets, and it's so much fun because some of these great players are going to smaller schools to be, the star player, whatever the case may be. They go to these smaller schools and they go to the NCAA tournament, and there's a huge upset, and it's so much fun to watch. But if the big time programs could pay their players X amount, nobody would go to the smaller schools because they just don't bring in enough money to pay their players. So I think that that's a big reason, and there'd be no more underdogs, which it just sounds silly to me. And the other way that they thought about doing it, actually back in 2011, they had a rule that was in place that they would pay all of their athletes $2,000. So, and now just for D1. So basketball players, football players, soccer players, tennis, everybody got $2,000 no matter what sport you played, no matter if you were the starting quarterback or the, whatever, bench warmer. But that was quickly shut down. So, they're not getting paid. Obviously, it's still an issue. But so, I've talked about why I think that it's a bad idea to pay college athletes. I've went to the other side and said why I see that some people think that it should be, a deal that's in place that they should be paid. But all in all, it's not a good idea. I think that most people would agree with me if they looked at my points, and so paying college athletes is just really not a good idea, and you shouldn't do it.
That's good.
Cool.
Really interesting.